Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamey Daddy channel. So let's dive into a little bit of speculation slash investigation, and that is on the Division Heartland. Now, this is a game that for some reason has gone unspoken of since after its announcement and since the end of its closed alpha or whatever it is. And not a lot has been said about it since then. I don't know exactly why. I would think that this would be more of the talk of the town, but I think I know, or I can hypothesize why I think not much is being said about it. I think it's mainly because of the reason that a lot of players are more fixated on the division itself and that particular game. It's usually kind of weird after investing a lot of time into games like these to want to, go to another game. But nonetheless, there is something quite important as to why this game, Heartland, even exists. Now, one of the really cool things is, this is being done by Red Storm. This is a studio that many Division agents here in the community, we actually have had some dealings with. And more than likely, they're going to take the same route or the same kind of sequence that was taken in the Division 1 and Division 2. And I say this is likely. I'm not saying this is definitive in the sense that they'll probably have some more community, events in terms of maybe a state of the game or maybe some community relationships and, talking points and discussions built up over time when this game eventually goes live. This is my premonition nonetheless, and I feel like, it's appropriate because many of us from the Division community are more than likely a target audience to this studio, and they'll probably be at reestablishing those relationships as they're running through the cycle of this game. So what's going on right now at Red Storm? It's really weird to talk about another studio developing a game in a similar universe as a game that you kind of play. It's just so all over the place. But right now, their last tweet, I think, was somewhere around July 19th, if I'm correct. And they are hiring for specific positions. And they're actually working on some Assassin's Creed VR game. This is kind of interesting. I never really thought that they'll have much going on other than the Tom Clancy games, but apparently it seems like they've been tapped on working on this particular game as well. So the studio might be expanding and there might be more going on. So they need a senior technical designer, senior animation engineer, monetization coordinator. Now this could be for either the Assassin's Creed game or for the Heartland game. Assassin's Creed games usually have some monetization aspects to it, which I've never touched. I mean, I'll play the Assassin's Creed game, but I really don't bother with that. An environment artist and a voice designer as well as an animator. So it appears that they're actually taking their studio to the next level. I mean, these positions are significantly, important positions. If you even count them, there are about 8 of them or 9 of them. And this is significantly going to cost Ubisoft as a publisher a significant amount of money to actually situate these developers if they are able to even find them. And what's even crazy is when they make these kinds of announcements, you have to also understand that these positions may actually be multiple positions. So it could, they could just write senior technical designer, but they might be willing to hire more than one, technical designer. They might have one that's a senior technical designer depending on the experience that they have or even the sequence in which they find them. So maybe, somebody shows up and the person has a lot of expertise and they're excited. They hire the person as a, senior technical designer, or they see somebody that has a lot of talent and is upcoming. They might not give him the role of the senior technical designer. They might give him another role and still keep that role open. So this is potentially bigger than the list that's actually being shown here. I think this is the way these things work in a lot of these studios. So when you kind of think about it and look at what they're actually working on, you have to you have to say to yourself, this is something that Ubisoft has to continue to position themselves in a strong way. And I believe it's time for them to actually come out of the woodworks. Because since the alpha of the Heartland game, we haven't really heard much from the announcement, from their side regarding the game, or we haven't gotten any announcement. I think another thing too that may have actually allowed for them to be a little bit more silent is because of the X-Defiant game. I think one thing that you'll see and notice for those of us who've been following is whenever they have something new on the table, they'll usually shut up about some other old stuff because they don't want to kind of crowd things and, take the shine unless they're throwing it all together in some kind of a Ubisoft Forward event. And that's why you're going to see something like that. So we don't have any of those kinds of events planned out for the, next few months. Maybe we'll see one in the fall. But it's really interesting to see that even though, they're probably wanting to, present something in a bigger event, I think they need to start building their community right now. So here are a few pertinent questions. Who will be taking on the role of the community manager, or who will be taking on the role of what it means, in my opinion, to actually start communicating and discussing the game with the community? I think these positions need to be established right now because, there's no need to wait too long or whatever it is. I think right now is the best time to actually start reaching out to the community, because the Division community is not like the other communities out there. I think one thing that you can actually bank on is there are a lot of, I would say there's a lot of history between the developers in this studio and even the Division, gamers. And so I think there's no need to be shy. I think they just need to kind of get their their community management out there, start, getting some developers to have some conversations with the community, or start to tweet posts, or even start to, do some of the community introductions like we see, even for the new community manager that's actually been tasked in, dealing with the Division right now. I don't know, for those of you who don't know, we have a new community manager that's probably going to be taking the place of what Yannick or Johan used to do, and so that's definitely something that we're going to be seeing somewhere down the road. Now, here are in my opinion some of the things that I feel we're going to be seeing regarding this game, and I think we're only going to be seeing them because of the progress that the game has made in development. Number one is depending on how far the development of the game is, I don't necessarily know how they're going to approach all of that. I think the development of the game is really going to dictate their communication, because I don't know if they want to go ahead and start communicating, in a premature way. So if they don't have anything to say to us, or if they don't have anything to offer, I don't think they really want to go ahead and talk about those things. But again, if they don't say anything, then it's just going to feel like they're blanking out their potential for actually developing what could be a successful starter community that kind of seeds that game. The second thing too that I see is, depending on the release cycles of their other games, that are related, this may also be something that actually says, okay, where are they going to put the announcement, or where are they going to talk about this game any further? Because, if they have another game in the works, or if X Defiant is actually gathering steam and is actually much further prepared than, say, even the Heartland game, then X Defiant may take the stage, or the center stage at that point, and other games will just have to sit, and just chill. But if Heartland has actually reached an advanced phase and gamers can start doing, maybe we can get another alpha test 02, or maybe we can get a beta, then I think that's more than likely what we're going to be hearing. But again, it's still going to have to come after X Defiant or any other game gets its own shine, and we'll try not to cluster the exposure of the other games. But man, I really think Ubisoft Red Storm needs to step up their game with their community relations, because I think they're a studio that has a little bit more friendliness towards the community, and so this is the perfect time, in my opinion, to actually start creating some level of that community seeding, pending when we're going to be getting more, I would say more hands-on experience with the game, say like the way they did the alpha, and this can, pretty much help the community gain a little bit of trust, a little bit of, I would say, inside knowledge of what's going to be going on once this game releases, and, helping us to redefine the structure of the game, and we can have kind of a collective view as to what this game really intends to be. Because right now, things are still vague, and X Defiant seems like it had the strongest push of, the Tom Clancy products. So people are kind of confused, and in order to reduce that confusion, in order to kind of get the community saying, hey, this is a game that might suit your play style, it's not a first-person game, and, this is what Heartland's going to look like, or whatever it is, more of those things are really going to help to change a lot of the perceptions right now in the game. But anyways, I'll talk to you guys in another video. I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you think it's probably too premature for them to start discussing what Heartland is about, or do you think they really need to get to it? Talk to me in the comment section. Peace out.